Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're taking the second part of our flight, our service from San Diego up to San Francisco. It's done in two stages. We have a feeder flight, the 737, from San Diego into Los Angeles, along with a few other feeder flights from Palm Springs and like have you. And then they're all connecting with the 747 Queen of the Skies flight from Los Angeles up to San Francisco. So that's the flight we're taking today, our second part of the leg, the Los Angeles to San Francisco in the beautiful 747 Queen of the Skies. So let's set up our flight plan. We're going to click on Los Angeles International, set as our departure. We're going to zoom in and click on a gate somewhere where our plane is going to be spawned in when we start the game. And we're going to click on this one here, ramp 67 parking, and set as departure. That's where we'll be spawned in when we start the game. Now we go up and we set our destination, which is sunny San Francisco. Here we go, San Francisco International, set as arrival. Now up here on the right, we're going to click on high altitude airways, and then over on the left, high altitude airways. On the right, we're going to click on ILS 28 right. And if we zoom in here, we will see that our our approach and our ILS approach is all programmed into our plane's computer already. All our waypoints, our ILS frequency and heading, everything is automatically transferred into our 747's computer. So there's actually literally nothing else to do. We can get in and fly. Now here we are at Los Angeles Airport in the beautiful Boeing 747 Queen of the Skies. It is a thing of beauty, isn't it? It is a gentle, beautiful giant, the 747. Now I'm going to let my co-pilot go through the checklist and the startup of all the engines and things like that, because I'm not very good at it yet. I can't remember everything, but I'm working on it. So my co-pilot is going to do that. And I'm going to be taking care of things like the ground services, the taxiing, the takeoff, the autopilot, the ILS landing, basically everything else really. But we are ready to go in the cockpit, cold and dark here, until my co-pilot gets everything warmed up and set up for us. Let's have a look at where we are at the gate. Bit of a cloudy old day, but I think we should get a bit of a view as we depart and pull out of Los Angeles. We should get a view of the city and a bit of a view of the lovely coastline. So anyway, let's get the ground services all taken care of and get the jetway connected so we can get this flight underway. I used to paint my own planes. Now the catering truck is going up to the wrong door, I think.
Forward boarding door has been closed. Once again, we do need all passengers to remain seated at this time. Please double check the security of your seatbelt. All electronic devices do need to be turned off and put away at this time. This does include all cellular phones and two-way pagers. Flight attendants, please prepare your doors for departure and cross-check.
Now we ask that you direct your attention to the forward part of each cabin, to the TV.
Welcome aboard. Please fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal fitting into the buckle, and tighten the strap. To unfasten your belt, pull up.
Okay, time to taxi to the active runway, and we can get underway here. Now here we are down the end of the taxiway, and we'll just hold here until we get everything sorted out. and then we will taxi onto the runway and depart. We've got our trim set. Let's have a look out here. Yeah, we've got our flaps down 3. We've got our trim set down, so the nose is just going to naturally just want to lift off lightly all by itself as we get up to around about 140, 150, 155 knots. It will just start to naturally lift off the runway, so we don't need to struggle and pull back on the joystick, on the controller, and everything should be sweet. Once we're at a comfortable altitude and speed, I will switch over to the autopilot. Right, so let's taxi out to the active runway and enjoy the views. Basically, I'm not the kind of guy that gets bogged down with all the technical tuning and the programming of the... We can take up our throttles. For some reason, I've got to do each throttle by itself for each engine. I can't seem to just click on it and take all the engines up together in one thrust. Even the thrust on my joysticks like that. I cannot take all the thrusters up just with one lever on my joystick, the throttle lever. I don't know why, it must be in my settings, but if you've got any helpful advice for me, I certainly would appreciate it if you can. Right, so I've got to take these 2 throttles up manually with my mouse because my throttle on the joystick wouldn't do it. Oh, we're off center line a little bit, but our plane is lifting off, so we're okay. That was a bit here scarum. And that problem was basically caused by my throttle stick not taking up all the throttles together. So I need to have a look at that, a serious look at that. Okay, positive rate, gear up. We're going to keep our climb angle around about 10 to 15 degrees. We're just about just under 15 degrees climb out here today. And look at that coastline, doesn't that look beautiful? There we go. See you later, Los Angeles. We're on our way to San Francisco. Beautiful coastline, beautiful colors. We're just going to keep it going in a straight line, okay? Nothing fancy, no special maneuvers, no turns and twists. Just keep it going in a smooth, straight line until we're comfortable with everything and everything's good, and then we'll look at turning and intercepting the flight plan. Okay, let's go to our autopilot, and to engage our autopilot. Our speed, we're going to engage that. Our speed. Our virtual speed, we're going to set that to a plus so that we're actually climbing out of Los Angeles. 1300 is a nice slow steady climb rate at this stage. Altitude I have set at 12,000 initially, and then we're going to slowly increase that. Auto throttle. Let's turn on the auto throttle. There we go. We'll turn on the auto throttle, and we've engaged speed mode. So I'm going to lift that, increase that speed to 300 knots for now. 300 knots will be fine. Going to raise the flaps now. Going a little bit fast, so we'll raise the flaps. And you can see here we are climbing out of Los Angeles. So we're looking good at this stage. Now let's just have a look at our flight plan. on the map here. We should be moving to intercept. Oh, we're right on our flight plan, our GPS line, so that is great. Let's have a look at some views outside. Wow, look at that. That is awesome, isn't it? Fantastic. Really enjoying this livery, Pacific Airlines, my virtual airline, but I would like to create my own livery and my own name airline, so I just need to learn to paint some planes and organize that. That will be great. But at the moment I'm flying for Pacific Airlines and having a lot of fun. Bit of view of the coast down there. Lovely day. But we're going to be traveling quite high up today. We're going to be heading up to around 35,000 feet. In fact, I'm going to set that now so that we can actually slowly climb up to that level. Let's go to 30,000 feet for a start. That will do us. Vertical speed, we'll increase that to 1,700.
Once you reach a comfortable cruising altitude, ladies and gentlemen, the flight attendants will be in the cabin to offer you a cocktail beverage of your choice. There are 5 flight attendants on board today, primarily for your safety. If there's anything we can do to make your trip more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. So we'd like you to sit back and relax.
Sit back and relax and enjoy the flight. We're going to be serving some meals. We're going to be serving morning tea and lunch on this flight. So there's some nice food on board. We've got quiche. We've got quiche and salmon pies. Quiche and salmon pies. Oh, lovely. And we've got pancakes and whipped cream with maple syrup. That sounds lovely. And we've got fresh homemade shortbread for morning tea. Tea or coffee. And freshly homemade shortbread. Well, we're calling it homemade shortbread because it's just like the shortbread that Mum used to try and make. It is lovely. Just melts in your mouth. Lovely with a nice fresh cappuccino or a cup of Earl Grey tea. Beautiful. And we got some lovely views here of the coastline. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Beautiful scenery there. Right, let's go inside and check our displays. Make sure everything is happening exactly the way we want it. We're cruising at 300 knots. We're going to bring that speed up a little bit. And we'll check our altitude. We're not climbing as much as we would like. We need to turn on our virtual speed again and climb. Keep that climb rate happening there so that we get up to our altitude, which initially is 30,000 feet. Speed, let's increase our speed. 350 knots. 350 knots sounds good. So our speed is increasing, our altitude is increasing. You can see on these green lights our speed mode is engaged, LNAV, and vertical speed is engaged.
Attention all passengers, we will be serving our in-flight meal shortly with your choice of red or white wine. Please return to your seats so that we may serve you more easily. Enjoy your meal.
Yes, it must be time for morning tea. A nice cup of tea or coffee. And some pancakes with whipped cream and Canadian maple syrup. Sounds good, doesn't it? Or you can have a glass of red wine if you like. Red or white wine with your pancakes. Oh, what a life.
gentlemen, from the flight deck. We're level at our cruise altitude, so I'm going to turn off the seatbelt sign at this time. So you're free to move about as necessary. However, when seated, we would like you to keep your seatbelts comfortably fastened for your safety. We just checked the weather and expect smooth sailing for most of the flight. So for the most part, we're going to stay quiet and let you enjoy the entertainment and service, and we'll be talking with you later on the...
Attention all passengers, we will be starting our in-flight movie in about 5 minutes. Please turn your headsets to channel 7 for sound in English, channel 9 for French, and channel 10 for Spanish. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to get up, stretch my legs, have a bit of a break. My co-pilot is going to take over the controls for a little while. And I'm going to come back and talk to you again when we're a little bit closer to beautiful San Francisco. Okay, so we have started our descent down in towards San Francisco now.
From the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We're going to be landing in, about 20 minutes, so I'd appreciate it if you would return to your seats and fasten your seat belts at this time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our approach, we ask that you please check. Make sure that your seatbelts are securely fastened, low and tight across your lap. Please return your seat backs and tray tables to their full upright lock position. If you've had occasion to use your carry-on items, please make sure that they are safely stored underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead enclosed bin. Also, if you're using any type of electronic device, if you would please turn it off until we are parked at the gate.
Okay, so we are going to descend down to 10,000 feet initially as we head in towards San Francisco. And once we get on down a bit lower, close to that, we will start dropping our speed as well. Well, we are cruising along at 8,000 feet now, so we've come down to 8,000 feet. And we're gently cruising up the valley here. We're going to be making a few slight turns, a turn to the right, turn to the left, very slowly and gently, just to intercept our final approach into San Francisco. So not too far to go. We have brought our speed down now to about 220 knots. And as soon as we've made these turns, we're going to drop our altitude down to 4,000 feet initially and bring our speed down to 200 knots. Beautiful views here as we descend down into San Francisco Bay. See Francisco Bay in the distance there as we come down through the clouds.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we request that you store your electronic devices until we are safely parked at the gate. We also ask that you extinguish all smoking materials. In final preparation for landing, please make sure your seat backs are straight up, your tray tables are stowed, and any carry-on luggage you may have brought on board with you is underneath the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin. The flight attendants will be passing through the cabin one last time to do their final compliance check and pick up any remaining cups and glasses.
And we'll bring our speed down to 3,000 feet now. And now, our speed down to 187 knots and our altitude down to 3,000 feet. Seeing as we're under 200 knots, in fact very soon, I think we'll start dropping some flaps. Might as well start now, one click. And we got a bit of a right turn and a left turn, and then we will be intercepting our final approach. Here is beautiful sunny San Francisco. Start lowering some flaps a little bit more as we come down under 200 knots. Beautiful day here at San Fran. Just a few scattered clouds around. Bring our speed down just a touch. 170. 170. Lower some more flaps. Our altitude still at 3,000 feet. As soon as we make our final turn, we will be intercepting the ILS. Make a final turn and then I will lower the gear in preparation for landing.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing, please.
Okay, turning now to get onto our final approach. Confirm, gear lowered and locked in position. But that is fine. Let's see what happens, shall we? I don't know whether it's a bug in the system or a bug with me. But the ILS lock-on diamonds are not showing up on the display. However, we are descending and we do have approach hold mode on, so we just need to see if the plane actually does what it's supposed to do, or whether I need to turn off the autopilot and do a manual landing. Definitely need some more flaps. If we don't do it right, we'll end up in the water, guys. So fingers crossed here. Get ready to turn off the autopilot just before we touch down. Are we going to make it or end up in the drink? Here we go. Right, I think we're going to make it. Let's turn off the auto throttle and the autopilot and do a touchdown there with the speed brakes. Reverse thrust. Plane keeps wanting to lift up in the air, don't know why. Let's put on the brakes. And we made it. We touched down. Basically reasonably good landing, although was a bit touch and go. I think we could have came a little bit further along the runway before we touched down, but so that's fine.
It's going to take the captain just a few moments to taxi to the gate, so we ask that you remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the seatbelt sign has been turned off and the aircraft has come to a complete stop at the gate. That will be your only indication that it's safe to get up and move about the cabin. We also ask that you keep the aisles clear of any carry-on baggage. This is the termination of our flight this morning, so we ask that you check the back pockets, closets, and overhead bins for any articles you may have brought with you. Extra care should be taken when opening the overhead bins, as heavy articles may have shifted during our flight. On behalf of your entire flight crew, it's been our pleasure serving you this morning. Have a pleasant stay.
Have a pleasant stay and welcome to San Francisco. Thank you for flying with Pacifica Airlines. Hope we can do it again soon. It would be nice to see you back. Quite a big plane to kind of maneuver around into position when you're taxiing. It's a skill all on its own, just taxiing in and out of parking in this big bird, the 747. Well, it was a beautiful flight. Really enjoyed it. I put it on autopilot. I went away, made a cup of tea, made a cup of coffee, had some nice pancakes, and then came back and continued the descent and the landing. I hope you enjoyed it. There was some lovely scenery along the way. I'm not particularly brilliant when it comes to all the technical stuff, but it was a reasonably smooth and a pleasant flight. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it. It was the second leg of our service from San Diego. We flew up from San Diego to Los Angeles in the 737, and then we took the 747 Queen of the Skies from Los Angeles up to San Francisco. So we'll do it again, and of course we've got our return flights to do in the next a day or two, so I'll be working on that. And I'll talk to you on the next video. I've got plenty of time to play this now because New Zealand has just gone into lockdown in level 4. So I've got a bit of spare time on my hands to play around, to practice and work a few things out in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, keep safe guys, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.